What's going on, guys? TTL here, and in today's video I'm going to be going over my top MLB picks for today. Today is June 5th 2023. There's not very much on the PrizePicks board, so some of these plays may be a little bit forced. I just wanted to make sure I got a video out though, and I've been waiting since literally 4 a.m. I woke up at 4 a.m. and there's just no props on the board for some reason. I guess where it's a later slate and the games don't start until like 6 p.m. They're just not adding them to the board. Underdog has quite a bit on there though, so I will be going over Underdog as well. And then Sleeper, if you're not signed up to Sleeper, they have a ton. They have pretty much every single prop up for them already. So definitely love that. If you're not signed up to any three of those websites, use my code TTL. I have it in the bottom left corner of the screen. And just before we get started, if you're not signed up to the Patreon, there's literally no reason not to be. There's a 7-day free trial, so you get to try it out before you buy. Once that trial is over, it's $20 a month. You can cancel anytime. There's no obligation to continue the free trial, and there's just no commitment. You get all of my prize picks and underdog slips, as well as my sleeper plays and sportsbook bets. So we have a VIP only chat. We have watch parties, live streams, that kind of stuff. So make sure to go sign up. It's a lot of fun in there, and we chat a lot throughout the day. So definitely something to look at. And yeah, so let's just go ahead and go over these picks, these very few picks that I do have right now. And I have Sleeper on my phone just so I can give you the odds on Sleeper compared to PrizePicks. Because if you're not comparing lines for Underdog, Sleeper, PrizePicks, all that, you need to find a sports book as well. You can compare odds and just find like what's favored to go over or under on a sports book. And sometimes the odds are just wrong on one website. So let's just go over this. And give you my top picks for today on PrizePicks. So my top play on PrizePicks is Brandon Bielak over 3 strikeouts. This is Houston's pitcher versus Toronto today. He's gone over this in 4 out of 5 of his starts this season. He got 4 versus the White Sox, 9 versus Oakland, 3, which is a push versus the Brewers, and then 6 versus Minnesota. I expect him to go over this again today. Now, Toronto is, I believe, 4th or 5th. They actually went down 1 in the MLB strikeouts per game ranking, but they're still averaging 7.8 on the season, and they're averaging 10 over the last 3 games and 11 last game. So getting 3 strikeouts isn't like it's out of the possibility. I see him getting 5 or 6 strikeouts in this matchup today. He's been killing it this season, so I expect him to continue that with them. And just to give you the odds of this on Sleeper, the odds for him to go over 3.5, it's a 1.9x. And yeah, so I mean, they have him at 3.5. He's bumped 0.5, and it's a 1.9x over there. So at 3, it would be like a 1.5x on Sleeper. So definitely great odds for him to go over this. I absolutely love this play. Next, we have Kyle Hendricks over 3.5. I absolutely love this play as well. Let me pull it up on my Sleeper. At 3.5, they have him at 1.64x right now, and we can take a look. He's gone over this in 4 out of his last 5. The one time he didn't go over was versus the Rays. He went over versus the Mets, Cardinals, Braves, and the Padres last time they faced off versus each other. So he's versus the Padres again, who are ranked 21st out of 30 on the strikeout list. They're averaging 9 strikeouts per game on the season. So I absolutely love taking this over. And you compare these two. These two are both power plays for me. Love both of these. And then the next few plays are going to be a little bit iffy, but I do still like them. And the first one that I have is Aaron Nola over 7 strikeouts. He's been doing a little bit poorly this season. He's hit this or pushed in 2 out of his last 5. Now, to be fair, he did go versus the Mets last game and he got 5. The Mets are 3rd on the list. They're averaging 7 this season. So that is a little bit understandable. The other 2, though, Toronto 6, that's sort of understandable again, just because they were averaging even less, but they're averaging under 8 strikeouts per game this season. And then Colorado is the only one that's like inexcusable. He got 4, and Colorado is 17th on the list, averaging almost 9 strikeouts per game. So as long as he had like 6 or 7 there, it would be a little bit of an excuse, but there's no excuse for getting 4. Now I will say this is at 6.5 on Sleeper. So it is at a less number on Sleeper. It is a 1.6x, so it's favored to go over 6.5. He may push at the 7 line. It does suck because he does have that push potential here, but I really like this matchup for him. He's versus Detroit, who are 22nd out of 30th. They're averaging 9 strikeouts per game, 10.6 over the last 3, and they had 12 strikeouts in their last game. So I do love taking this over even at the 7 line. And I'll go ahead and give you the odds for the other 3 as well, and we'll try and like see if we would take either of those. The Manoah over 4.5 is a 1.8x on Sleeper. He's gone over in 2 out of his last 5, and the reason that I'm not taking this one is simply because he's hit or miss. This entire season, he's either done really well or really poorly. We can see versus the Yankees, he got 3 strikeouts. Phillies, he got 1. Manoah's lines last season were like 6.5 the whole season. So for him to be down at 4.5, that just goes to show like how poorly he's been doing this season. And it's so poorly that it's so 50-50 that I don't feel comfortable taking it. And I wouldn't feel comfortable giving that out as a play today. So one play I do sort of like is Perez over 4. Now, I will say this is a little bit iffy. He's at 4.5 on Sleeper for 1.92x, but that doesn't mean anything, you know. He's gone over in 1 out of his last 5. I'm not going to make this an official free play just because it's so iffy, but you do get a 0.5 discount on PrizePicks, and we can see he's going against the Cardinals, who are, I believe they're near the bottom. They're actually near the top. They're averaging 8 strikeouts a game this season. So he would need to get 4 strikeouts here just to push. He would need 5 to go over. And that's just a little iffy for me, so I'm not going to take that one. And then we have Blake Snell, who is usually a great pitcher, but recently he hasn't been doing as well. He's only pushed in 1 out of his last 5. He hasn't gone over in any of his last 5. So I'm definitely not going to take this. I will say he's at 6.5 on Sleeper, and that number is a little bit. I would almost take 6.5 just because the matchup versus the Cubs, who are 26 out of 30th, averaging 9 strikeouts per game. But with him being so close to what their average is already, 7 strikeouts compared to 9 on the average, and with him only going over 0 times, only pushing 1 out of his last 5 games, I just don't feel comfortable taking that either. Now, these 3 that I do have highlighted, I would recommend taking. Again, Aaron Nola is 6.5 on Sleeper, so I do love it there. But the Bialik and Hendricks plays are both very good here, and you can still take them very easily. Now on to Underdog, the place for today. I'm just going to search up strikeout so we can see all the strikeout props that are on here. And actually, unfortunately, Wentz got taken down. So I did post this as an official play. So if you were in that free trial for VIP, you would have gotten this in. I posted this about an hour ago. But Wentz is already taken down. Just to give you the odds, I took him at 4 Ks here. He is at 4.5 on Sleeper, and he's at 1.7x. So the odds are he goes over 4.5, and he's probably going to get bumped to 5 on Sleeper, and he's only at 4 on Underdog. Now, I will say a lot of people aren't liking this play. A lot of people are taking the under, because Sleeper does show you those odds as well, right? And it is 92% of people are taking the under 4.5 Ks. But I do love this 4Ks here. We can try and look at his. I hate the past performances on Underdog. But the 3 games that he's played this season, or his last 3, it's not even showing his whole season. His last 3, he's got 5Ks, 4Ks, then 1K. 1K versus Washington. Washington is #1 on least amount of strikeouts. That's understandable. He also gave up 6 runs, so he's going to get taken out very easily there. Versus the White Sox, he got 4. He would have pushed this. White Sox are like middle of the pack, I believe, 11th out of 30th. So that's a little bit less understandable. but I do think he gets this, especially versus the Phillies, who are 23rd out of 30th. They're averaging 9 strikeouts per game. So for him to need 4 strikeouts, that's less than half of their average, and I do love taking that number. Aaron Nola is at 7 strikeouts on Underdog yet again, same as Prize Picks, so you can take the over there. JP Sears is at 4 as well. I do like this less than the Wentz play, but I do like this on here as well. He's at 4.5 on Sleeper, but it is a 2x on Sleeper as well. He's gone over this in 1 out of his last 3, and if I look at his total games this season, he's gone over this in 4 out of his last 6. He's gone over or pushed. So this matchup versus Pittsburgh, I really do like this as well. We can take a look. Pittsburgh is 13th out of 30th, so middle of the pack. They're averaging around 8 strikeouts per game. So he again, similar to Wentz, is needing about half of what they're averaging. Manoah, again, just 50-50 coin flip. I'm not going to touch him. We have Julio Teheran. I don't really know how to pronounce his name. I've never actually heard of him. Might just be me. But it's at 1.9x at 3.5 on Sleeper. Wouldn't really want to touch him. His 2 games this season, he's gotten 0 Ks and then 5 Ks. So definitely a little bit iffy there. Just don't want to touch it. And then, yeah, exactly. He got 0 Ks over 6 innings in his last game versus Toronto. So he's just not a K pitcher. He's not a strikeout pitcher. So I'm not going to touch that. And then as for Wainwright, he's at 3.5 on Sleeper for 1.6x. You could take the over 4. I do like the over 3.5 quite a bit. You could take the over 4, but there is a lot of push potential there. So the only 3 that I would really, or I guess 4, I'll add Wainwright in there. The only 4 that I would recommend taking would be Wentz, Nola, Sears, Wainwright. And then I would recommend the Hendricks over as well, but there is push potential at 4, and you can get him for 3.5 at Prize Picks. So not really going to count that one, but you could if he was on the board. He's not even available right now. But yeah, those are my 4 picks for Underdog. I gave you like 3 or 4 for Prize Picks as well. And we actually went over every option on the board for both Prize Picks and Underdog as of right now. So thank you guys for watching. That's my analysis of all these plays. Feel free to let me know in the comments what you're thinking for this board, kind of what your vibes are for these games. And yeah, just let me know in the comments if you're telling any of these picks. Hit that thumbs up button and hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next video.